Hitting them with the old school. Used to do that on my old podcast. I never knew how to do the intro with the music because I would always do the music to start and then I would turn it down. Or I've tried putting the music on and just literally letting it play out all the way through. But that is not why we are here. And for those of you joining me from the MMA Holes stream, love you all, by the way. Yes, 318. That is why we're here. I can't believe it's been a career for Dustin P. I was talking about him yesterday with actually a really cool guy. His name is Dan Pettit. Tune in August 2nd in Sturgis. Dude is he's going to bring the show in this fight. Guys fought already 3 times in BKFC, and we were talking about this card on Saturday. That's his favorite fighter, Dustin Poirier, and I actually have not gotten a chance to watch the press conference. I didn't get a lot of sleep the last couple nights, so I took a nap and I woke up and I was like, oh, of course, it's Thursday. So caught a couple highlights of the presser. What was going on with Paulo Costa? A dude was he was either on the he was on the secret powder, or the guy was just the energy. He was feeling it. I don't know, but I saw that, and then Max getting booed. Tell him Gumbo sucks. I don't know who to go for in this fight. God, like, you're asking me to pick between Dustin or Max. As a fan, that's the hardest question. That's like trying to think of guys who were more fan appreciated. Is that the way to put it? Than those two. I would think like if you're watching like in baseball, like 2 guys that are well liked, it'd be like Derek Jeter and like being a Yankees fan and picking between Derek Jeter and Paul O'Neill, or like 2 guys that are well liked in sports, like picking between, I don't know, like Bo Jackson and Bo Jackson and Jerry Rice. What's a good analogy here? I don't know. But yes, there was a press conference today, and this card, I mean, if I learned anything from the Nashville card, it's that you don't sleep on a card just because it looks bad on paper. There are some that are just like the Manel Cape card earlier this year. That was like, come on. I mean, I don't think people are going to be, you're not drawing a lot of casuals in with that. Certainly not the diehards, but this is one that I didn't think was as good when I first saw it, but I do have to say I'm looking forward to the main card. It's just the thing with Nashville is last week, the cards, the delivery was all because of how good the lead up was to it with the prelims and how good everything was. It was doing well because it was all finishes. And I'm wondering how it's going to turn out tomorrow or on Saturday, because I'm looking at it right now. You have Michael Johnson, and Daniel Zellhuber. And then there's, Dan Ige. That's the one I couldn't remember. Him and Pitbull. It's going to be a hell of a fight. I mean, Dan always shows up. You got to give it to the guy. I think there's somebody, honestly, who had even more potential in his career. And Kevin Holland, I mean, how could you not? The guy's always fun. I mean, goes in there earlier this year, puts on a show with Gunnar Nelson, and I mean a quick turnaround for the guy. I don't think he's fought in between this. Was there another fight? Yeah, that's right. He fought. So he fought Luke, and then before that it was Gunnar. I was positive he fought another time in between that. And looking at it, March 22nd, June 7th, July 19th. That's insane. You got to give it to Kevin. And does have a win against Buckley. So with a win here, especially over a guy like D-Rod, and I know somebody who trains D-Rod in jiu-jitsu. Shout out to 10th Planet in San Diego. Donna, you're a monster as a coach. That guy against Kevin Holland, I mean, that could shock people and be the fight of the night. Maybe not shock me or somebody who watches fights closely, like my buddy RX. Shout out RX MMA. He does some of the best breakdowns of these cards, but I don't know. I feel like the main card is going to be kick ass. I don't know about the rest of it, but and then you have, so after D-Rod, that's right, and Paulo is the main event. I don't know how the main event is going to go. I mean, Costa, you just never know which one of him is going to show up. And that's the thing that frustrates me the most with Paulo, is that the guy is, I mean, all the talent in the world, but I don't know. He's been, against Strickland, it wasn't like it was the worst fight. It was just, I think when he is dialed in, there's a guy that can smash opponents, all the talent, but it's really just mentally, that's what people are looking for out of him, because we know he can sell. The guy is a funny bastard, but I don't know. I'm hoping, honestly, I'm pulling for Paulo to get a win, but I have to go. My gut is telling me Kopylov is gonna pull this one out, and that is just the lead up to, of course, the main event, the feature picture, Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway. I mean, what else can you say about both of those guys? It's it's hard to believe that the first time Max got KO'd was against Ilya. I mean, that's how long that guy's been fighting. And he has climbed back up to the top before as a fighter. I mean, you look at the way that to go in there 3 times against a guy like Volk, it's not easy. He's climbed his way through so much crap, and I really admire that about Max. I mean, and to pick yourself back up, and then to go and Korean Zombie and Justin, it's going to be wild to see Max and Dustin fight a third time in Louisiana for that reason, I think. I mean, honestly, I don't see the fight going differently than the last one, but I think Max will look better. I mean, the guy went in there and had some moments against Dustin in that second fight, but he has fought since then at 155 and was able to beat a guy that just put Dustin away. So that is some experience right there. I mean, how can you not respect both guys of Max as an absolute? I mean, they're both, their resumes speak for themselves, but Dustin, how dialed in is he? We've seen the party spoiled before when somebody was having a hometown event, like with Leon Edwards. I'm not comparing the two, but the guy, does he have that energy going through him enough to carry him to a win against Holloway, who we've never seen him after a knockout before? Is he going to go in there with some kind of new energy that we've never seen with Max before? That's what I'm wondering about with this fight. I mean, it really is. I think it's a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Dustin in that fight. And for, the I've got to go Paulo. If the right Paulo shows up. But Kopylov, I think he has enough in him to handle Paulo, even if he is at his absolute best in this. I see him getting the win. And D-Rod going D-Rod in the fourth to last fight. And Michael Johnson, I'm pulling for Mike. I mean, look, as somebody who has watched Michael Johnson since before the Khabib fight, and Khabib handled him, and that it did things to him not only in that fight physically but mentally, that it's not easy to climb back from that. And especially the fight against Gaethje. I mean, everybody back then, I remember saying, "Oh, Michael Johnson's done." He had a resurgence in Tampa, and absolutely expect him to go out here and look good. I mean, good enough to climb back into title contention. I'm not sure about that, but we're going to find out, right? That's why they fight. I think if we have Michael Johnson of old show up, keep it on. I mean, if they keep standing, I feel like Johnson can get into a groove, handle his business. It's going to be interesting to see how fresh he looks, because he hasn't fought since Tampa, right? And that was early December, that card. And of course, he's fighting a younger guy. He's fighting somebody who is, has the advantage in reach. I don't know. I really want to see Johnson get a win, because he's another one that's in there who deserves all the respect. I mean, I've always said you show love to the OGs of the sport. You don't spit on them, like the way that a lot of people were with Izzy when he lost to Strickland, and Tony Ferguson. That's a more extreme example because of his losing streak, but you have to give credit to a guy like Michael Johnson who fought Dustin, fought. I mean, he fights Nurmagomedov. He fights Justin Gaethje. The guy has been around. If I'm sitting there at age, what was I, 24 when I was 25 when Michael Johnson. I think I was I was 24 when he fought Khabib. That is that's impressive because that was almost 10 years ago. To go in there and be so fresh against these guys still somehow at age 39, that's not something that's easy, guys. You can't armchair something like that. And before that, yeah, he beat Flowers. That's right. And then lost in 2023 in the second round. I forgot about that fight. That was a good one. But yeah, I mean, one before that in 2022. So, I mean, 5 fights? Last 5, he's been 4-1. It's going to be interesting to see which Miguel Johnson shows up. Put my hat back on. His life. We were having a talk the other night on here. I need to fix that. We were on, I think, my buddy RX's stream the other night, and we were talking about the best fast food places, and it's just like, does it even matter? Do we go there for the quality of the food? No, we go there because the food is basically microwavable. I'm sure a lot of the products are microwavable, but God, now I really want a Taco Bell steak burrito. Shout out to anybody who is jumping on to this very last minute stream, though. I'm just waking up from my slumber and seeing this press conference, and I saw my buddy interviewed Mike Davis. Can't wait to check that out. And then what's the card coming up after this? Is, yeah, that's right. That's Whitaker and DeRitter are fighting each other next week. Who knows? Maybe I'll go live for that because you have Peter Yan is fighting right before Mavsar, and that's right, Aaron Pico. I could not remember who he was fighting, but God, that's going to be that's a big fight for him. Both guys, I mean, it's not an easy game, my friends, and it's the moment for Pico right there. Can he show up, and is he UFC ready? And then after that, we have Mir Albazi and Tatsuro. That's right. I forgot all about that card because that's right before Roman fights, and then Duplessis and Hamzat. There's a lot of cards there that, yeah, again, I mean, you just kind of, some of them go together, honestly. I mean, you have a good main or main and co-main, but the rest of it is, no offense to the fighters, just forgettable because they don't have the hype around their names. But I'm hyped to see Whitaker and DeRitter because, look, DeRitter, DeRitter had a hell of a game plan against a guy like, I mean, to beat Bo Nickel the way he did, it's going to be a moment if he goes in there and makes quick work of Whitaker. And at the same time, if he beats Robert Whitaker, what do you say at that point? I mean, is that guy, is that the end of Bobby Knuckles as we know it? Guys, I just don't know if I'm ready for that. I feel like it's going to be a better performance for Whitaker than it was against Hamzat. I think he's going to try and, I mean, he's definitely more experienced in there than Bo. So if he can, it'll be interesting to see if it's taken to the ground because Robert, I mean, how do you game plan for a guy like DeRitter? I mean, he's really, I think he's underrated on the ground personally. And if he can keep it, if Whitaker strikes at a distance, doesn't he controls the pace from the start. That Robert is in there. It could be a long night, but I think he has a lot of energy going right now for him, and I expect him to win. And would that make, what is that for DeRitter if he wins? Is that 3 in a row? I gotta look that up because I am not sure. Both 34. Both have I mean, like a lot of experience, but DeRitter is just stacked when it comes to the stats. I mean, it's a 4.5-inch reach advantage, 6'3" as opposed to 6 feet. I can't wait for that one. If you don't know who DeRitter is, I mean, that guy has a history of. He's been doing it for a long time. I mean, he was a two division champion in what was it? I'm gonna butcher this. I feel like Cage Warriors, wasn't it? And he beat, that's right, Kevin Holland and Gerald. I always get his name wrong. Mearshart, I believe, is how you pronounce that. Yeah, Ranier is an absolute dog, man. And, good for him getting that win against Bo because too many times UFC has had some hype train that goes in there and just you know that they have talent, but you're like, they're trying to push this guy. They're doing their absolute best to market them and make them the second coming of this and that. And that's just can be a recipe for disaster. I mean, look what happened with Darren Till. It isn't always your first try. You're the talk of the town. I mean, you can have a moment like he did against Wonder Boy and then just kind of went downhill after that in the UFC. But he goes into boxing and has been handling people, whether it's great competition or not. I mean, I don't think Pretty Boy Taylor's any slouch. I don't think Darren Stewart is god awful. So you give him credit. I mean, he had some good moments against Duplessis. It sucked to see him lose that, but I mean, now you look at Duplessis, it's pretty impressive. Now you look at Kevin Holland and where he is in his career. His last loss was to DeRitter. So time will tell, my friends. Time will tell, but was hoping to get some people rolling in here. This was such a last minute stream. I didn't think that I'd be jumping on, but I saw that the MMA holes stream ended, so I was like, oh, nobody's streaming. I'm going to just go live. Why not? And if anybody jumped on from there that didn't see, I did an interview yesterday. I try and get them, but hope y'all are having a solid night. And yeah, tune in Saturday, folks. You are going to get fireworks with that main card. I think the main card is definitely that's the main attraction right there. Watching the 5 fights specifically, because I just don't think there's anything that really draws you in besides that. I mean, Kyler Phillips, not to knock him, but I think that it's always exciting with Dan Ige and Kevin Holland, guys like that. You know, it's like, how can you go wrong? So if they can have a UFC Nashville moment and the card is just finish after finish or KO after KO, then they have a hell of a night ahead of them. I think it's going to be a good time either way watching it, because, you know, you're seeing probably the last of Dustin fighting and one of the last fights of Max's career. Don't think he's going to be retiring, but I mean, how much longer does he do it for? We'll see. But that's my time, guys. I'm definitely that press conference. I got to sit and watch that whole thing. I got to get some dinner first, but I expect it to be a lot of funny Paulo moments. I was going to say, anybody in the chat, if you're here, put down your favorite moment of the presser in the comments, because I think my favorite was the Gumbo sucks. Oh, man, how could you not like Dustin and Max? It'll just be a fun fight. You know, all the people hating on that, like, oh, why are we even doing this? It's like, dude, then go watch baseball. You know, go put on a movie, something like that. I know, I agree. Every UFC event, every fight for sure is not something great. I gave you a reference earlier of a bad card. I mean, there were people saying that a card that was 3.5 hours from UFC Tampa was not that great a card. I personally thought it was pretty good, even though, you know, I can't tell you more than 3 fights that were on it. The Cub Swanson fight, the Michael Johnson fight, and the Colby fight. But I'm just so amped for Dustin getting this moment, walking out with Wheezy. Please, crackers and cheese. Oh my goodness. Lil Wayne's walking him out. That is legendary. Good for both of them, man. They deserve their praise. And if this is it for Dustin, I gave you some praise yesterday with Dan Pettit, but thank you for all the moments, man. And you were somebody that I think has represented the sport so well. I went back and watched Dustin Connor 2 last night, and I mean, it's just so hard to believe that was 4 years ago, man. You've been killing since then. I've always called you the Warren Moon of the UFC, because of you've accomplished everything outside of the belt. And I really think that there was a time where you could have been walking out with the undisputed 155 strap, but we won't get into all that. Absolute dog. And you ever see this? You are one of my favorite fighters for sure. So go handle this. And Max, same to you, gangster. Rep Hawaii so well. If you win, I'm just as happy because you both are truly the best ambassadors of this sport. You're what young fans, when they're coming into UFC streams on Saturday night, they're looking for people who represent the sport well. Look no further than you two. I'm going to put my picks online before the fight. Going to have some clips for y'all. Looking forward to it. And I don't know when I'll be streaming again, but hopefully y'all can jump on next time. You get more notice. Hey, I'll be here putting on my hat because I'm late for my shift. Just playing. That's one thing about Taco Bell, dude, is I went in there the other night and I waited damn near, I was like around 20 to 25 minutes waiting on an order. And then they come out and tell me it's not even on screen. Of like, microwavable food, guys. Don't ever argue about which one has the best of that. But love you, mean it. Thank you for tuning in. This is a wild card, a hungry wild card out.